Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Gods Love Dinosaurs by Pandasaurus Games. Now, Gods Love Dinosaurs is effectively an ecosystem building game. You have player 1 here, player 2 here. The game plays 2 to 5 players, and what you're doing every single turn is you're grabbing a tile and then building out and developing your ecosystem. You see, you have a few things going on that you're trying to balance in this game. You're going to have the variety of small little critters that will slowly populate, taking over your entire ecosystem, which is great because then you can turn around and activate a variety of predators that will go ahead and eat all those small animals. And finally, you'll get up to those dinosaurs that God loves so much, because he's turning around and going to go ahead, they're turning around and going to go ahead and eat all the predators to slowly put more eggs on the map and thus more dinosaurs and continue the ecosystem of the game. Now, we'll talk about the puzzle of the game shortly, but just to cover a basic play-by-play of how it plays out, you're going to go ahead and grab a tile. Perhaps I grab this tile over here and I add it to my ecosystem over there, and I'm going to go ahead and add the matching animal on any animal spots you have. So that little tiger over here is going to go over here, which is very helpful. Arguably, I should put it here, but no, actually I'm not, because I know what I'm doing over here. Then we're going to have the next player over here grabbing this tile over here, and this is going to be important because the tiles you grab matter not just because you want the specific tile and how it fits into your ecosystem, but also because it will trigger the actual system over here of what activates next in the pattern. So we're going to go ahead and put that dinosaur there because that should be there. But we're going to go ahead and take this tile over here, and I'm going to add it to this ecosystem, and perhaps I'll add it. Where should I add it? We're going to go ahead and add this one over here like so, adding a little lizard person over there onto the tile over there. But because we've now emptied that row, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and trigger that row's animal from going ahead and doing its thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate all eagles on the map. Now again, this is where dinosaurs and predators and prey all activate in slightly different manners. Now we're going to go ahead and start with eagles because we just removed the last tile there. We'll show all of them over here shortly, but we're going to go ahead and move the eagle in a straight line. Now the way predators work is the first prey they eat is essential in order to survive. If you cannot eat any prey, you're not going to survive, which means you can't be eaten by dinosaurs, which means you can't generate more eggs and thus more dinosaurs. So we're going to go ahead and move the eagle. Eagles move a straight line 3 spaces. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, because this particular eagle ate 2 predators or 2 prey, we're going to add another eagle to the board. That's how your animals are going to be, that's how your predators are going to be slowly creating more and more predators for your dinosaurs to eat. Now, this eagle over here can go this way or that way. We're going to go ahead and go this way over here because, well, just because I want to. We're going to go ahead and move there over like so. And we ate 1 prey, which is just enough for us to survive. So this eagle over here survived, and this eagle over here thrived. Now we're going to go ahead through each of these things, triggering the actions one at a time on each of these to show you how they play out. Now prey are all going to spawn into adjacent lands that they have space for. So we're going to take this lizard over here. Actually, I'll start with the rabbits over here. The rabbit's going to go ahead and spawn, and we're going to spawn 1 rabbit into 1 space where it can go. Now over here we have a slightly different problem because we have 3 rabbits over here, but there's only 2 spaces available for them to go to. So we're just going to go ahead and make the best of it, spawning those rabbits like so. Now when we do the same thing for rabbits, you're going to see the exact same thing. The rabbit's going to move there, and a rabbit's going to move there. There's space for them on their lands. When we activate this rabbit, there's only 1 rabbit, but there's 1 space for it, which works perfectly. And then finally, we have these rats, lizards. I'm not entirely sure what these various creatures are. We're going to go ahead and move this lizard out over here into the 1 available space. There's no lizards over here, so no one generates. And then finally, when we activate tigers, eagles, we already talked about how they move in a straight line. Tigers, on the other hand, are going to move 2 spaces, so they have less amount that they can move, but they can move however they want. So I can, for instance, go 1, 2, and thus generate another tiger on the board, like so over there. And then this tiger over here, likewise, can go 1, 2, no particular, we're going to go 1, 2 over there, and then again, generate a tiger on the spot behind it. So you can see slowly how the various, your land that you're creating, as you add more and more prey to it, are going to continuously spawn more and more prey into the available lands, and then slowly have to be eaten by the predators, which will leave more predators. And this brings us to the part about the dinosaurs activating. You see, when you activate the column that the dinosaur is in, you're going to go ahead and also activate the dinosaurs. You're going to have a dinosaur activation that round, and then the dinosaur is going to move to the next column. Now, when a dinosaur activates, they're going to move 5 spaces in order to, well, eat the predators on the board. That's their main target, predators. Eating prey will help a dinosaur survive. That way it won't die. But by eating predators, That's how it's going to create more dinosaurs, laying more eggs on the board. But the key is dinosaurs have to move 5 spaces, but they also have to end their turn on a mountain spot. So a good example over here would be 1, 2, 3, 4 would be an excellent movement, except you do want to be mindful of the fact that you're going to have no tigers left on the board. But the good news is that's going to go ahead and generate some eggs, which you can go ahead and put into our nest, which is helpful. And that's going to be worth points, plus the ability to hatch the eggs, adding more dinosaurs to the board, as long as you have more mountain spots for them. Then from there over here, this dinosaur over here is going to also move 5. This one can move as well. I think this one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should work, because I want to have a little bit of both on the board. So we're going to go ahead and go, actually we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are unfortunately going to end up eating a little bit of prey there, which is not what I want. Honestly, probably not the most efficient move, but take it for what it is, a bit of just a playthrough here as we go through the rules. That is effectively going to be Gods Love Dinosaurs. You're building out an ecosystem, like I said already. You want to have predators, you want to have prey, so you can keep spawning it and growing it, because you can have a board that is absolutely swarming with prey. But then you need predators to actually eat the prey so that you can generate more predators. And then you need the dinosaurs, because ultimately dinosaurs are going to be the main points in the game, which brings us to the whole review part of Gods Love Dinosaurs, what I liked, didn't like, and all of that. Now, Gods Love Dinosaurs is a lot of fun in many ways. To begin with, the game is easier to teach, easier to learn, easier to play, and the playtime is perfect for the game. It doesn't last too long, it's not too short, it feels like a, well, appropriately length game. But more importantly, I particularly enjoy the challenge, the puzzle, of trying to figure out exactly when things are done, when things are heading to a close, because you have to keep your ecosystem afloat in this game. If you don't have your various animals, if you don't have your tigers, if you don't have your eagles, if you don't have any of the individual prey, you're going to have a problem. You need to keep a balanced ecosystem running in Gods Love Dinosaurs, but that also means that as you approach endgame, you have a variety of different species on the board, and you can enter into endgame by having tons of species on the board that aren't helpful for you. So you're playing this bit of a game of trying to figure out just how long the game will last, and at what point you can start to, well, eat up and destroy your entire ecosystem to get as many points as possible. Because having, lions and eagles, having tigers and eagles on the board at the end of the game doesn't score you any points. But eat them too early and you won't have an ecosystem. Eat them at just the right time and you'll have perfectly eaten up all the points you can gather in this game. So that little bit of puzzle of trying to figure out the balance of both keeping your ecosystem alive the entire game, as well as knowing when to close off that loop and to start eating things, is a lot of fun. Additionally, it has that typical tile laying fun of a game of where you're trying to figure out, ooh, I got this spot over here, I need to be mindful of where it goes, because I really would like to have another mountain over here. Having a mountain in this area of the board is going to give me a little bit more flexibility as I move my dinosaurs around, because then I can loop them into a variety of mountains. But having mountains, I want to match it also to my plains, because then my bunnies can kind of grow in the same area. So maybe I compromise by putting it, let's move this over a bit. Maybe I compromise by putting it over there like so. Then I'm still expanding into plains over there, but I'm also doing so while adding another mountain. So it has that puzzle laying fun of trying to figure out where everything goes in a game. But for me, the main fun of the game is going to be that balance of building out your ecosystem, having those moments where you just spawn 12 bunnies in a single round. It's never actually 12 bunnies, but I have had moments where just a ton of creatures are flooding the board, and then a turn later with the right activation sequencing, you have your animals being eaten to generate more predators, and then to be eaten by the dinosaurs. So it's a lot of fun figuring out that little balance of Gods Love Dinosaurs. Now, what I don't like about Gods Love Dinosaurs is going to be the lack of variability in the game. That's going to be the biggest strike against the game for me, because I really enjoy the puzzle this game gives me. But it's the same game. It's the same puzzle every single time. It's a game that I got in my plays and then just tried to figure out, okay, where's the timing, where it's going on, and I enjoy playing it, but I kind of feel like it's an experience that I enjoyed, and I'm not pulled in as much by entering into the game again, because it's the same exact thing. It's all about the timing. The tile laying is fun, but if it's tile laying alone, there are other games as well. And if it's about the puzzle, about the timing, it's great. It works, but there's no variability. There's no events. There's no shifting animals or different types of decks. I can kind of picture a great addition to this game being some sort of, Tiny Towns or any of these games where you have the same animals on the board, but then you have different ability cards that you can shift in or out to create a slightly different puzzle every single time. I feel like this game could really benefit from an expansion that would add to those aspects, add to the variability, so that when I play any combination of cards over here, it's a slightly different puzzle, and therefore I'm more incentivized to jump back in. The lack of variability is going to be the biggest thing for me as far as what I don't like about Gods of Dinosaurs. As far as what I can see others not liking, there's going to be a few small things. To begin with, you can be the victim of timing that feels outside your control. And I say feels like because you can always argue, well, you can see the other players are doing this or that or whatever, but you can absolutely be planning out your moves and then have someone jump in and activate tigers when it is not helpful for that to be done to you. So you may often feel like you're planning around what you want to do, but then other players are getting in your way and just messing with your ecosystem when it's not fun. Now, I like that. That's part of the fun for me of Gods of Dinosaurs. Part of the unpredictableness, arguably the most amount of variability, comes from playing with other players and seeing how they try to mess with your perfectly built ecosystem in this game. So that's going to be something to factor in over there. And you may not have a good feel for that timing, which is another thing. I talked about how, for me, the main fun of this game is going to be the timing, which does mean that if you can't get a good handle or if you can't get a good feel on the timing, then you'll either be eating and destroying your ecosystem when it's not convenient to do so. That is something that is absolutely a bit of something to be aware of as you play this game, which is you may end up eating all your predators when it's not good, or eating all your prey and then having your predators starve to death. If you don't have a good feel for the ecosystem building in this game, if you don't have a good feel for that timing, this can turn from an enjoyable, puzzly experience into a frustrating one as you watch other players around you score points and you are struggling just to get an animal or two onto the board. And then lastly, I will note, this is a game that, for me, I think it's best with 3 players. 4 players tends to be a little too long, and 2 players doesn't have as much messing with each other or things going on in the game. I have not played this one at 5, so I can't comment on that, but I imagine that if I felt 4 players added too much downtime, then I think 5 would add even more in that sense. As far as final thoughts for God Loves Dinosaurs, I talked about this mostly as I went through the review, but effectively for me, this is a one where I simultaneously think that the core game is a solid game, Gateway Plus I'd put it at, in terms of giving you a puzzle of a game, tile laying, an ecosystem building, a lot to keep in mind as you try to juggle what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and how to take advantage of the timing in the game. Where Gods of Dinosaurs fails me, or fails is probably a strong word, but where Gods of Dinosaurs leaves me wanting more is that lack of variability. I really feel this game needs an expansion for me to want to dive back into it. I've enjoyed my time with Gods of Dinosaurs, but I'm not incentivized to dive back in again because it's consistently the same experience, a good experience, but one that I'm ready to move on from because I just want more things to change up the experience. Variability is often a complicated subject because I often want variability and then proceed to not play the games enough times to need the variability, but this is one where I was already starting to feel it was a bit samey even for my 3rd play, and so I want more from this game. I want an expansion. For right now, for me, Gods of Dinosaurs is going to be a 3 out of 5. A 3 is a good game, but my rating scale is down below. You can check it in the description, but a 3 is a good game. Not one that's great, but one that is solid, that's good, that I can recommend. And Gods of Dinosaurs is going to fit into that category. Just my main caveat would be mindful of the variability of the game, of the experience. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.